equation, F equals 9/5 C plus 32 changes Celsius temperature to Fahrenheit temperature. If the Fahrenheit temperature is negative 31, what is the Celsius temperature? That's exactly right. All we had to do was replace F with negative 31. So I've got this negative 31 equals 9/5 C plus 32. Okay, good. And what does that give us? Awesome. And then what? We have some options on how we can type that in, right? You can put the alpha y equals, or just put it in parentheses, either one. But what do we get? Good. So my answer must be A. All right, you too. So on yesterday's notes, we were focusing on the distributive property, right? Today's notes are talking about combining our like terms. So that's when you have more than one x or more than one whole number on the same side of your equal sign, and you have to combine them. We don't add or subtract them to move them because they're already on the same side. You just combine them. Okay? So let's look at some examples here. On line number 1, what should I be combining on this one? Okay, and what am I going to get? Awesome. Okay, so I've got 7x minus 3 equals negative 31. So how would I solve that? Okay. All right. Awesome. You're on a roll today. Number 2, what should I be combining? Good. And what is negative 7 plus 22? Awesome. So I've got 6w plus 15 equals negative 45. And so now I have 6w equals, awesome. And my last step. Great. So, all right. And we got number 3. So what should I be combining on number 3? The what? The 2 fractions, And now when we're adding fractions, we have to have a common denominator. Luckily, these already have that, so we don't have to worry about that. So really, all I have to do is add the tops, right? So 2 and 8 is going to give us, so I've got 10 over 7c minus 17 equals 23. Then what? Good. So 10 over 7c equals, good. Then what? By what? Just 7? 10 over 7, good. And again, there's some ways you can type that in, alpha y equals, or just parentheses, but we end up with, awesome. Good job. All right, number 4. What should I be combining on number 4? So I got a 5f, a negative 2.4f, and a 3/2 f. I can put all that in my calculator. What's it going to give me? Good. So I've got negative 0.3 is equal to 4.1 f. And then we have Plus 12? Yeah. Plus 12 on the ends. Okay, then what should I do? Good. Okay. And when I subtract, what do I get over there? Okay. Mm-hmm. Good. Good job. So pretty easy when the equation's written out for us, right? Correct. So we flip it over on the back. To give us some word problems, we're going to write the equation and solve. The first one says that Jacob sold 8 more calendars to raise money for athletics than Colton. Together, they sold 42 calendars. How many athletic calendars did Jacob sell? So we got 2 people who sold. We've got Jacob and Colton. Right? Do I have any idea how many Colton sold? Huh? Does it say that in the problem? No. So, I am trying to figure out how many Colton sold. That would be my unknown or my variable. So, maybe C for Colton. Alright. Then Jacob, it says, sold 8 more than Colton. So, plus 8. So, we don't know what he was. We just call it C. But 8 more would mean plus 8. Alright, now we're supposed to be coming up with an equation. Well, hint it. We should be combining like terms. That's what we did on the whole front page, right? So, if I'm combining my like terms here, what do I need to combine? 2C. So, I've got 2C plus 8, and they sold a total of, good. Okay? So, now what should I do? So I end up with 2C equals, okay. But then what am I supposed to do? Divide. So he did not sell 34. Colton sold 17. Okay. So if Colton sold 17, that's not what they asked for us to find. They said, how many did Jacob sell? So what should I do with that 17? What? We should just plug it in. We know that Jacob sold C plus 8, and now we know C is 17. So just 17 plus 8. He sold 25 calendars. Good. Nice. Alright. This next one says the sum of 2 consecutive integers is 77. Find the value of 2 integers. Does anybody know what an integer is? Huh? It's just a number, just a whole number, right? A positive or a negative whole number. Okay, so I'm going to make a note of that over here. Positive or negative whole number. Okay? And what does consecutive mean? If I asked you to line up in consecutive order, what would that mean? No, it doesn't have to be largest to smallest. So consecutive, it could mean that if I asked for largest to smallest. What? Consecutive just means one after another. Okay? So maybe make a little note of that too in case it asks you in another one. Consecutive just means one after another. Alright, so like if I asked you to count consecutively to 10, you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just in order. Alright, so we are looking looking for the sum. What does sum mean? Addition of two numbers, consecutive numbers, one right after another, that add up to 77. 76 plus 1, is that what you said? Well, the 76 plus 1, that would be two numbers, but they come one right after another when we're counting. We can't, because then it would be a decimal and not a whole number. So, we've got two terms here, right? We don't know what they are. I've got some first term, some second term. So, do I have any idea what the first number is? No. So I'm just going to call that x for now. Oh, I just was putting like a dash, like it x, so equals x. Sorry about that. Okay. And I don't know what my second one is either, right? But I do know that if the first one is x, the next one is whatever comes one after. So x plus 1. Alright, but we do need to combine our like terms when we make our equation, and how many x's do we have? 2. So I'll have 2x plus 1 should equal, nice. And what is that? Alright, so if the first number is 38, then the second number is, it comes one right after another. There we go. Right? It was just the vocabulary that throws you off, because you're not super familiar with what consecutive means, and you're not super familiar with what the math part was easy for you. Just figuring out what they were asking. Okay. So this next one says that the length of a rectangle is 3 more than half the width. If the perimeter is 60 centimeters, they want us to find the length. Okay, so we know that a rectangle has a length and a width, right? Do we have any idea what the width is? No, they didn't tell us. But let's say that this is my width. I'm going to just call it W for width. So, this one, close. This one here and this one here should be the same, right? So it's also W, which would make the top and bottom my length. Right? There we go. It says the length of a rectangle is 3 more than half the width. So half of, we said we don't know what the width is, so we just called it W. So there's that part, half the width. And then it said 3 more, and we know more means to add 3. Alright, and if this side is 1/2 W plus 3, then this side should also be 1/2 W plus 3. Right? Okay, so if I'm talking about perimeter, how do you find perimeter? Add. We just add up all the sides. Okay. So I've got 1 W here, 1 W here. Right. Those 2 halves. So I got 3 W, and y'all said plus what? 6, right? Because I got a plus 3 and a plus 3. Should be equal to, good. Good. Okay. So we found out the width is 18, but that's not what they asked. Yes. What do you mean by 3? Yes, that's, yeah, we're going to plug it in, yes. Because they asked us to find the length, right? Not W, they said find the length. And this is what we said the length was, right? We said the length was equal to 1/2 W plus 3. And now that I know that W is 18, I'm going to plug that in. So what's my answer, Hector? 9 equals L? Is 9 plus 3? Okay. So length equals 12. Okay? Alright, one more. So this one's also talking about perimeter, which you guys said just adds up all the sides. And it actually tells us that the different 3 sides are these 3 right here. It doesn't matter. So one of them is x plus 1. One of them is 2x minus 1. And then the third side is 4x plus 3. So we got to combine our like terms. I've got 1, 2, 3, plus 4. Altogether, that's 7x. Alright, and then I've got plus 1, minus 1, and plus 3. What's that? Good. I've got plus 3 is equal to, and now I just got to solve. Good. Alright, but that's not what they asked for. They asked us to find the length of each side. So yes, we're going to go plug that in to all the sides. So here would be 12 plus 1. Good. Here I would have 2 times 12 minus 1. And down here I would have 4 times 12 plus 3. 5. 4 times 12 is 48. Okay. Okay. So I have three answers. Okay, 3 answers. We've got 13 centimeters. We've got 23. Good. Well, they already told us that that's what the perimeter was, 87. They wanted us to find each individual side. So that's what we did.